You're still watching Prime Morning, and of course, like we said earlier, there's a lot happening in the economy, and we ought to talk about it. We know 2 days ago, the finance minister addressed all of us with the mid-year budget review. There's been some mixed feelings. Some people are excited about it. Others are not too happy about it. We don't know what your take on it is yet. But of course, in your homes, we want you to join us. If you're on your way, you can join us on social media as well. If you're driving, please, when you tune in, just put it on the side and just listen to us, because we are loud as well. Just go to social media. Facebook is Joy Prime. That's the name of Facebook. When you go on Facebook, the name there, you see us streaming live. You hit the share button. Let everybody on your timeline enjoy. So we say it like this: share the link. Oh, share the link. If you do not share the link, AMJ will tell you what to do. Okay, so try as much as possible to share the link, but let's get interactive. That's very, very important. Sending your messages to us on our WhatsApp line, or leave your comment underneath the stream, and we will definitely read it. We are so excited that you could join us this morning. And a big thank you to Nutri Snacks for giving us a great morning. I love Nutri Snacks because it's a very wholesome biscuit, less sugar, and of course less fat as well. If you want to lose weight, the right biscuit to eat is Nutri Snacks. So go get your Nutri Snacks today and thank me later. And if you want the place to relax and have a comfort and let your children see the animals they see in cartoons, go to Safari Valley Escape. Now, Safari Valley Eco Park actually is the place that they have all the animals. They have the elephants, they have the lions, they have the wallabies, they have the antelopes. So your children have seen them in cartoons. They haven't seen them in real life yet. But go there. It's only 250 Ghana cedis. Now, if your child is 6 years and below, it's even free of charge for your child. So that's a good thing, right? So go there and let your family enjoy that beautiful scenery. It's time for us to delve into what our newspapers have for us. I'll start off with the very first newspaper, which is the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. And it reads, Accra NPP chairman endorse Afriye Akoto. Okay, really? My guests are here, so I'll ask this one because I don't know if it's really true or not. Former DACF boss schools Damboche, ministers only have to collaborate. It's not a master-servant relationship. Upon Nkrumah applauds 21 billion Ghana cedis budget cut. NPP introduces a new dues system. And let's see if there's something in here. Yes, there is. Fuel prices go up. Petrol, diesel selling at 12 Ghana cedis, 95 per Suez. NLC gives Sonan Asogli August 2 deadline to decide on sacked union executives. Government launches 31 billion Ghana cedis pension funds domestic exchange. Communications Ministry holds mentorship day for beneficiaries of Girls in ICT program. Ghana elected to UNWTO Executive Council, and Echima Biaja, I hope I got it right, South NPP Vice Chairman support BECE candidate. That will be all for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. Let's do the Today newspaper. Okay, it's quite a new newspaper because I haven't really seen it before. Today, or maybe they've rebranded it, I don't know. Special media budget edition, front page comment, turning the corner, who pays the price? And I think that will be all for the Today newspaper. Okay, Today, Truth and Enlightenment. Okay, yo. Another newspaper, Republic Press newspaper. Republic Press reads, Ekufuado write-off Saglemi as government commences new affordable housing project. We'll definitely discuss that as well. CJ cracks down on judges over contentious comments about court cases. Colleges of Education, teachers embark on strike. Government keen on bridging Ghana's internet to usage gap, says Ursula. First English slave fought in Africa uncovered on Ghana's coast, and government plans to expand the leap to cover extreme poor by 2024, says the finance minister. Police arrest 2 for selling fake ECG meters in Takwa. Haven't they stopped this thing? Or we are the ones that actually think that it's been stopped? MTN wins multiple project management awards for implementing stellar projects, and 24 Nigerian sex workers face deportation after La District Court ruling. 24 Nigerian sex workers. So they came to Ghana to come and do sex work. Wow. Hey, what a shock. The Chronicle newspaper. Parliamentary Committee on Local Government speaks. Natoshi, never snubbed Dan Botry, says two juggernauts must rather work together in the interest of a mother Ghana. Okay. Achimebwakwa State to protest over murder of royal at Adwejuri. NPP announces *920*270# as short code for membership dues. So it's very easy to pay your membership dues now, says the NPP. Atlantic International Varsity bestows honorary prof on biology of Medimafo Clinic CEO. Medimafo. KON Lord's government for 21 billion Ghana cedis cut in 2023 budget. That'll be all for the Chronicle newspaper. Okay, no, I have some sports at the Chronicle, so let me read the sports. Latest transfer rumors and done deals. We see Sadio Mane here, Kylian Mbappe, Rasmus Højlund, Victor Osimhen, Romelu Lukaku, Harry Kane, and this one, his name there, he's not Ghanaian, so I'll leave it. Well, some of them are under transfer. The Finder newspaper, sword cut for 8,000 housing units, government subsidizing by over 40% through free land amenities. The Finder newspaper. NLA unveils 4 new draw machines, relaunches VAG Lotto. After primaries, all aspirants should back winner to defeat NDC, says Dr. Bawumia, which we'll discuss as well. Some constituency chairman in Greater Accra endorsed Dr. Akuto. Okay, so now Finder has defined it well. It says some constituency chairman, but the other newspaper said chairman. All, so we thought it was all. Parliament approves Cynthia Koshi-Lamte's nomination as Deputy Special Prosecutor. Mayor of Housing calls on Accra Mayor. MTN SME month ends with fair in Accra. 23 persons remanded for attacking palace over sale of Kweyman land. Forestry Commission commences 2023 closed season bans hunting in forest reserves, and fishers in Western region prepare for fishing after closed season. That's good. We'll get more fishes in the system. I'll do the last newspaper, which is the Daily Guide newspaper. The Daily Guide newspaper. 8,000 unit Pokwasi housing project underway. Nana frowns on West Africa coups. Will fight NDC together after primary, says to Dr. Bawumia. 19,764 recruited in 4 security agencies, and MPP launches new membership dues. Some entertainment here as well. Meet Ghanaian tech genius Idris Sandu. Artists deserve diplomatic passport, says Aunt Sophie. Okay. Hey, I'm waiting for my own. Because I deserve it too. Yango treats patrons to movie night, and I found out on YouTube that my marriage had ended. Stella and Daniel. But why did Daniel Damascus do that to Stella Damascus? Hey. 2022 most difficult economic year, and the finance minister said so. NLA outdoors new draw machines. Samsung introduces Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Z Fold 5. And the sports here as well. Napoli show Achu Love. Ejiso lifts MTN Ashanti First Cup. All set for ETV Ghana Japan Motors Run, and Ubuntu Online Academy launched. That will be all for the Daily Guide newspaper. My guests, I have been ready for the longest, and so let me introduce them to you. On the ticket of the NDC, I have Adel Umar Ibrahim, and he is a communications person for the NDC. Good morning, Adel. How are you today? I don't know what I'm supposed to share and see.
We're good.
You're good.
I'm good.
All right. So the ticket of the NPP is Paul Grave Watchedog. Hello, Paul Grave. Paul Grave is the government spokesperson on governance and economy. Welcome.
And security.
And security
yes,
as well.
A very good morning to you.
Good morning. How's everything?
God is helping us.
It's been a while, though.
It has been. You're aware that the NPP is preparing actively for its elections from flag bearer to constituency. And so there are various people that are interested in upgrading themselves and representing their people in parliament. And I desire to do same. in Ebuakwa North. And so I've been spending time with my constituents, visiting them, loving them, supporting them, doing infrastructural projects within the meager funds that I have to contribute significantly to the development of Ebuakwa North.
How has it been so far?
It's been a learning curve, to be honest. Constitutional and constituency politics is very, very different. It's a politics of the people, it's a politics of love, it's a politics of assurance, it's a politics of trust. Because when you visit delegates and you see their lifestyle and livelihood, and you realize that they are the people that have the power to send you upwards to represent them, it's a rare privilege that you shouldn't lord it over them when you have an opportunity. You should rather seek to serve them because all 524 delegates from my constituency, Ebuakwa North, cannot be in parliament. They can only choose one person. And so if out of the many people who would desire to represent them, and even the thousands of people in the constituency, you are chosen to represent them, it's really a real privilege and an honor. So it's a learning curve for me.
I like that. And also we know that as the learning curve, I know Adele has future plans to go to parliament. So
I mean, certainly for every average young politician, you aspire to the highest office, so definitely. I would have actually campaigned for you, Paul, except for when I do, your people will say, Papa, but he's a fine gentleman.
He is a fine gentleman.
Beyond all reasonable doubt, he's a fine
we all
gentleman.
hope that you win, actually.
Thank you.
So we will.
So I can walk to your office.
Some of us, the little we can do by telling, sharing your flyer when your flyer is ready. Kindly let us have it. We'll share it with you. Yeah, you're a fine gentleman. We know what you can do for the people.
Thank you.
So we'll definitely support you.
Right.
Let's start with our very first story. And yesterday we know that there's been the commission of 8,000 buildings, affordable housing building, and everybody is excited about it because we know how cost of living in Ghana is. I mean, yesterday I went to somebody's house and I was asking, how much is this? The person says $3,000 a month. I said, $3,000 a month, and this is an apartment. And so I'm like, okay, so if it's an apartment and you're paying $3,000, it's just because it's in town. Bring it to Ghana City, it's like 33,000 Ghana Cedis a month to live in town. So people are very excited about this. It's going to be in Pokuase. The president did speak. And also, another concern that most people have called on is the Saglemi housing project, where people are asking, why are we not completing the Saglemi housing project? President made us aware that Saglemi housing project, if we should complete it, it will cost the government a lot of money. They would rather use the money to build these houses that's supposed to be at Pokuase than to complete that and privatize the Saglemi housing project so that the private sector can complete it and sell it off. Also, he made mention of the fact that they've realized there's been some, sort of imbalancing in there. And so for the former minister, that's Collins Dauda, who was handling it, actually is being investigated on it. And some criminal investigation is going down. So if found guilty, definitely Ghanaians will hear more about that. Let me start by getting your take on this 8,000 new projects to be completed in Pokuase. What do you think about it, Adele?
Rosalind, first off, let me say a warm good morning to the National Chief Imam and to my dad, Sheikh Omar Ibrahim. I just want to say we appreciate their efforts and their contributions for the Muslim community. And may God give them long life. We still need that escort. Having said that, Rosalind, housing is something that is critical. I have said on several platforms that it's a basic necessity for every human being. I mean, birds would stand on trees and go find stalks and put up something, just so they can live. Unfortunately, we're running a system where government doesn't own most of the lands. So the chiefs own them and people would have to find huge sums of money to buy a land if you want to live alone, or perhaps buy, build, and then rent out, and rent is extremely expensive. Now, government has to, whether we like it or not, intervene. Now, there is no doubt that putting up affordable housing, if the people can pay for it, is definitely something that is useful. However, there are issues that we need to look at.
Right.
One of the issues, for example, if you take the issues of Saglemi, the housing, the plan was to build, is it 5,000, build a certain quantity, and then give it out, take the money, reinvest back into it, give it out, take the money, reinvest back into it. So by the period that we're looking at, we're hoping that would have gotten that amount of housing units that we have wanted to build. Now, this government basically, I was listening to the Minister Housing, Works and Housing on Asempa yesterday, where he indicated that he's looking he's looking for $100 million. In order for them to complete this project, they will need approximately $100 million. If I tell you something, assuming that we can even conclude as we sit here, that somebody had actually, been corrupt when it comes to this project, and like rightly said, when you said Colin Zander is under investigation, assuming that that is even the case, let's conclude that that is the case, something untoward went on. Is that enough to allow this project to go waste? No. Doesn't
but
make
he
sense.
didn't say it's going to go waste. He said it's going to be privatized.
I'm bringing you.
Yeah.
Okay. So government has placed in some money into it. The reason why government calls it affordable housing is so people can be able to afford it. When you bring the private investor into the project, automatically that pricing, you won't get it. So it's not going to be affordable. That is the problem. The essence for which it was started will be lost. And if you need $100 million to complete this, and we can sit here today and talk about the fact that we have sunk in $58 million in National Cathedral, for example, which is basically not doing anything, then you're thinking, what's the point? Like, you could have easily invested that same money into this project, continue to prosecute whoever you want to prosecute.
Invest the same money from the cathedral? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, but for the issues of lack of priority, we could have invested 58, because we've spent almost $58 million on the National Cathedral. No benefits, nothing.
Okay.
So my argument is that we could have equally invested that amount of money, just needed a little more, and then we would have finished this one. Your prosecution is still ongoing. Nothing stops it from ongoing. But to say that government has invested so much money in this, and then the essence for which it was started will be lost, there's no, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't hold water. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that there's a lot of waste in the system, that we could have actually finished this, and then it would have still served the purpose for which it was meant to serve. When you say you're a better government, that is why I keep saying, assuming that we even say that Collins Dowdle was totally wrong, and assuming we say that, yes, something criminal went on, assuming, granted, let's accept it. Let's say that's what it is. The purpose for which this was built is supposed to be completed. That purpose has to be fulfilled by you, regardless, because it's continual.
But there's no money.
You understand?
So there's no money from what the president said. The president says that so far a total of $198 million has been pumped in it.
Okay, great.
And we need another $114 million to complete it.
So,
but this new Pokwasi is $100 million. So there's going to be an extra $14 million that can be used for other things.
Rosie, listen. So you've pumped 98 million in this. You need an additional 100 million to complete. 114 million to complete this. The number of housing units you're going to build with $100 million is not the same. I'm just telling you, like, on a flat level ground, it's not the same. You can never get that same quantity with $100 million today. If you were to build, you wouldn't get this number of units. So I'm saying it still doesn't make sense. You have started something. The government has started something. Government has not been able to finish it. You've been able to raise 58 and sunk into a project which is not saying anything. How many
the Saglemi buildings? I really wish I would check. How many there are. When he comes, needs $100 million for 8,000. $100 million for 8,000 housing units. I don't know how many the Saglemi housing units
when
are.
When Paul comes in, I'll basically look at that for you. So my argument is that, regardless of how everything goes, let's even say, okay, Mr. President says, okay, I want to build this new project, at $100 million. I'm saying that there's so much money that has gone waste. For example, this year's budget, government estimated at spending a certain amount of money. They have exceeded that amount by almost 600 million. That's a lot of money. You do a budget, you're supposed to live to a certain, standard. That's a lot of money. We're talking about monies that have been spent today by the Bank of Ghana, and we're talking about all these monies that are going waste. This is something to help the poor. Let's not concentrate constantly on those people who are up there when they're... Look, the average Ghanaian struggles. to raise...
Pumping another 114 million in there. I mean, if you look at all of that, then it means you can't even sell it to the poor at affordable housing, right?
Why? Why is that?
Because you have pumped so much money into it. So
yes, but the same government has been able to pump another $58 million in the National Cathedral, which is not bringing anything. So Rosalind, my argument is this. My argument is that there is so much wastage by this government. The last thing they have to tell us is that putting money in this is waste. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, because at least this is in existence. So for me, if you ask me, I would say that if I came to meet this, I would rather invest in this than invest in places that Ghanaian would not benefit. Because obviously, putting money in this and completing this would have a lot more impact on the life of... So take it that you put 100 million in it. Take it that it was waste. It was waste. You put 100 million in this, and then you still decided to reduce it for the average Ghanaian to be able to buy. That 100 million would have gone with you. Probably wouldn't have gotten it back, but at least you would have changed lives.
Okay.
That's my argument.
All right. Palgrave.
Rosie, so a very good morning to you and to Adele and to your viewing public and to the people of Ghana. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has once again sought to build 8,000 affordable housing units. According to the UN statistics, close to about 160 million people live in substandard housing globally. Now, housing is a great need for the Ghanaian people. As you have stated, we have to continually ensure that people live in good houses and affordable houses. There are schemes that are in place to ensure that the working class have a long-term purpose of owning a house. Because Maslow has even told us that when you have a home, it's part of our self-actualization. Now, our journey further on is that in the Eswal government, they sought to build a 5,000 unit housing at Saglame, which was to cost a huge sums of money. Phase 1 was supposed to cost close to about $200 million US. And then a few other things that they needed to do. At the end of their tenure, their government did not actualize the completion of the Saglame building. Now, for people that have built before, they know that raising a structure does not complete the building of a home. In fact, a lot more cost goes into the furnishing and finishing. As a government that is thinking forward, and as a government that does not want to neglect other successive governments' efforts, and also does not want to neglect other people's need for affordable houses, our government has sought to cancel for an 8,000 unit housing at Pokwase. It's actually around Amasamine to the right-hand side.
It's quite a prime area.
Very, very prime. And especially with the high level of infrastructural road network that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government is putting in place. That place is going to be one of the sought-after neighborhoods. And I'm surprised that one would consider that this is wastage. There is not any attempt from our government to be involved in any wastage at all. And I think that the president was very clear that there has been close to about 198 million Ghana cedis that is spent already in the Saglame building. Government will need an additional 46 million Ghana cedis to complete infrastructural works such as water, electricity, and drainage to mitigate flooding, and an additional 68 million required to finish the buildings and essential on-site infrastructure work, including holding bays, sewage treating plants, and other development of social, economic, and civil facilities like schools, clinics, and shops. And so if our government is looking at 46 million US dollars that you need to invest in Saglame, plus 68 million US dollars, I can simply get my calculator and calculate it for you to see how much money government seeks to save, vis-a-vis also ensuring that we are beginning a project that can complete. That's going to cost the government close to about an extra 140 million US dollars to raise. So if it's going to cost the government 140 million US dollars to raise to complete an uncompleted project of 5,000 units, and it's going to cost the government 100 million US dollars, saving the Ghanaian people 14 million US dollars to complete 8,000 unit houses. You ask the people that are investors. You ask the people that are prudent use of the Ghanaian taxpayers' money. And they will tell you that it's better to go for the 8,000 unit houses because that's even an extra 3,000 unit houses. And I mean, if you look at the proximity of the Pokwase 8,000 unit houses that our government seeks to build vis-a-vis Saglame and the economic activities that is around, you would realize that this is a novel investment from the government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The networking communities that are in close proximity to Pokwase is Kwabenya, is Ashoman, is Kwashiman, is Kuntunsi, is Taifa, and all of those networks. And so you can imagine the number of Ghanaian civil workers and Ghanaian public workers and unions that would be interested. And I think that the minister had even intimated that there's already a market that has been clearly laid out for these 8,000 unit houses. And I have no doubt in my mind that even before we complete these 8,000 unit houses, by a year, by this time as we speak, you would realize there's a sizable part of that has already been taken. That you might not even get some to buy because there's a market that is ready for these 8,000 unit houses. And so our government is not seeking to be involved in wastage at all. And I'm surprised that, you see, when we are discussing developmental projects that bring forward involvement into this country and people want to look into cathedral, the cathedral is not a wastage. I think that the entire architectural plan of this country needs to be forward looking. The government of Ghana, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, seeks to ensure that the foundations of this country is laid properly so that future generations, your children, my children, his grandchildren, and your grandchildren, and other people that are viewing, their nephews and nieces, will live in a country that has a good architectural unit, a country that its architecture is able to speak to the value system of this country. Yesterday on social media, I realized that some few Ghanaians that have come on holidays from around the world have started visiting the president's new renovated Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, taking very beautiful pictures. And this reminds people that have traveled to South Africa every now and then, that go to Nelson Mandela Square in Soweto and Sandton and take beautiful pictures of the apartheid. And we are wanting to recount the history and the legacy of this country. Right. I commend government for being bold and ensuring that we are saving the Ghanaian public purse close to about 14 million US dollars and investing 100 million US dollars in 8,000 unit houses rather than putting 140 million US dollars into a 5,000 unit houses that was misappropriately managed from the SOL government. Okay.
Now I really didn't want us to go into the cathedral. You mentioned a little bit about it. I think the concern of the people is not the fact that cathedral ought not to be built. The concern is that if we have enough money, if we are not in economic crisis and you're building a cathedral, you don't have a problem. The problem is you are building a cathedral where we are struggling. So give us the comfortable life, and we all know what has happened in the economy. So if we have everything sorted, then the cathedral can be built. I think that's where the issue is. Now let's also talk about, when this building, that's the Pokwase affordable housing, will start, when it will commence and when it will be completed. Because again, we don't want to have another Saglame housing, issue if which we don't know what's going to happen in 2024 elections. So when is it going to commence? And again, let's not forget that we have Agenda 111 that we are still building, and we've told the people that it's going to be completed, but it's still not completed yet. So 8,000 and Agenda 111, which is still hanging. Now, when are we completing these buildings?
Rosie, I can assure you and assure Adele and assure your viewing public that the New Patriotic Party, the party of choice for the Ghanaian people, the party of choice for the leadership of this country and the forward movement of this country, has always completed housing projects. And I'll give you an example. In 2006, under the leadership of President John Ajekun Kofoɔ, the government launched an affordable housing project which aimed to construct 5,000 housing units in 6 different towns over a 5-year period. Now, unfortunately, despite the noble intentions, this project yielded a lot of results. and it's evidential enough.
No, but the question here is, you see, another thing I actually do say.
So our government is going to complete this 8,000 unit houses.
The thing is that when we talk about, usually people don't want to even deal with the name political parties. They want to deal with who is in leadership. It's not about the political party. And so, yes, under a certain political, there's a political party, but under a certain government where the leaders were different, certain things were done. Now, we are talking about this leadership. When are we starting this particular project? When are we commencing this project?
Almost immediately. Once the sword has been cut and it's been launched, it's an almost immediate project. I mean, you should start visiting the site, and it'll be good to keep a very close look at the infrastructural projects that is going on, and you would see that very clearly and very confidently this 8,000 unit houses will be completed before the president and
before 2024.
Well, before the 7th of January 2025.
Before 7th of January 2025.
Yes, because before President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ends his tenure.
So this is all record.
You would see that a sizable part of this 8,000 housing units is completed. And you mentioned Agenda 111. And I assure you, you had the Minister for Finance, the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, on the floor of the House, reminding Ghanaians of the level of investment that we have made into Agenda 111 and how close to about 80 plus of the Agenda 111 district hospitals are at various stages of completion. And I mean, no doubt in my mind that as our president has continually always stated that Agenda 111 is going to be completed. We are waiting.
As for that one, we don't have a problem.
Agenda 111 is going to be commissioned. Agenda 111 is going to see the light of day. And you would be here. You would need to send your reporters and your cameramen onto the various sites.
Wait for that.
Because we have invested close to about $189.34 million into the Agenda 111. Close to about 83 of the projects are at various stages of completion.
All right, fantastic. So I'll let you speak, but I don't know how true this is. So we got this coming in, and it's alleged, that a studio apartment will cost 13,800 Ghana cedis. 1 bedroom will cost 20,700. 2 bedroom will cost 34,500 US dollars, I must say. 3 bedroom will cost 42,550 US dollars. We don't know if this is true or not, but we'll definitely try and confirm it. So the question is, are these affordable if it's true? So somebody said they saw it and they want to know if this will be the price, because the average Ghanaian cannot afford this kind of pricing. But let me bring you here, Adele.
Rosalind, so this is the proposed prices.
Okay.
But you see, this is what I keep talking about. How many average Ghanaians? Let's say you're looking at the cost of the first one, which is pretty much a studio apartment.
Yeah.
Studio apartment, basically, we're talking
Chamber and hall.
Chamber and hall, Chamber and hall at 165,600 Ghana cedis. How many people, how many presenters can easily just walk into their bank and take out money and probably
presenters?
I'm just saying.
You said presenters.
I'm just saying. So you see, we're having a conversation, and I'm trying to call Paul's attention to something. It is not just, you see, you're comfortable with always saying things and not getting it done. You have indicated to us what has happened to, we are going to see sugar in, the Commander Sugar Factory. What happened to it? You said we're going to finish it. You said they told us by 2019, somewhere June thereabout, you're going to finish it. You keep saying these things. Nothing is really changing. It's not just about saying. You've spent a lot of money. Look, under the NDC, when you take all the taxes that we received, plus all the monies that we borrowed, Rosalind, we worked with only $250 million, 250 billion. So this is what we got. You've had, if you take the monies you have borrowed, plus the monies that you have actually received in this country today, you have 800 billion plus. We shouldn't be having this conversation with you. We should be seeing something. Like, you shouldn't be sitting here and telling me that Agenda 111 is still struggling at 800 billion plus. When we had 250, your government has taken almost 2.4 billion from oil. Within this short period, how much do we have? 1.2. So we're only telling you that, look, it is not enough to only just say, and we are the government that will do it. You have 1 year. Paul, you and I know that 8,000 housing units cannot be built in a year. Even when you placed that you want to do Agenda 111, and you indicated in the contract document that every project of that Agenda 111 is a 1 year period project. One. Each one is a 1 year, it's a 12 months period to build it. How do you then sit here and tell me that you would build us and you would inaugurate, or you would actually, finish it before 7th of January? It's not possible. Like, you guys
7th January 2025.
It's not possible. It's not. The reality is, you guys must stick to reality. If the thing is A, make it A. Oh, we would finish. When we said that, let us expand the electricity sector, and then we came, and then capacity and all the other things, after we resolved it, we sat down, we figured, look, by the time we finish with all these capacity issues, we would have excess energy. We wouldn't know what to do with it. Let us set up an investment to do it between Ghana and Burkina, so we can be able to increase 200 extra megawatts of power that we can export, because we used to do 100, now we want to add 200, make it 300. We knew that project will finish in 2018. We announced the project will finish in 2018. Because that is the reality. You came, you abandoned it. But I'm saying that when you want to do something, they like too much sloganeering. Like, what happened to One Village, One Down? How much money has been sunk into it? What happened to it? You guys spoke, Paul, you guys spoke about JIDA, right? You said Suba, you said it was unacceptable. We all admit it was unacceptable. Then you come to power, and then you're doing similar things. And I'm thinking, what have we learned? Like, over the years, what's the difference? And all of this, when we say, hey, you guys should sit back and relook at it. 4 years now, since you changed curriculum, you've not been able to print textbooks for GSS. 4 years. What is it? If you have a family, you have 18 years, 15 years, 7 years, 2 years. Say you're broke. You want to do something, you find food, and you have to feed the family. Who would you feed first? You have 2 years. You have 5 years, you have 17, you have 22. Who would you feed first?
Maybe, Adele, for this, because they don't want another Saglemi, they will complete it. It's not possible.
First?
It's not possible because they don't want another Saglemi. And don't forget that anytime we are getting into election year, politicians, what you do is that you quicken projects and you get our votes.
So let's no problem. So let's say no problem. The MPP is unlike the NDC. Unlike the NDC. We've started the program. The project that we started, we have invested 190 billion, right? 190 million into it. You say if you do this project at 100 million, you'll be saving the taxpayer how much? 14, right?
14 million US
14, right?
Yes.
14 million US dollars. Okay, but 190 of our own money again is stuck in this one. You don't think that is more than 14? I don't understand the argument. I don't understand the logic. My argument is that...
But what we need to pump in is more.
I'm not disputing. I am saying that this thing cannot be given to the private sector because it will not be affordable. The purpose for which it was set up will not be affordable. The politicians can buy what they can buy.
But you set it up on your purpose. It's a different government. They can't use your purpose as theirs.
Okay, so why are they willing to continue Commander Sugar Factory? They made similar issues about Commander Sugar Factory, that we put so much money in it and it did nothing. They came and said they were going to finish in 2019. Have they? No. I am telling you that this government has gotten so much goodwill. This government has gotten so much support everywhere. CSOs, media, everywhere. They have received as much, 3 times more or 4 times more what we have received. When you walk out of this studio right now and you start moving around just in Accra, you would see what we have done is so visible. With 250, you have 800 plus. You're still telling us we are trying to finish it. Okay. We will finish it. Next year's election year, we will finish it. When are you going to finish it?
Anyway, let me come back to you.
There are five developers with this housing unit compared to how the NDC built affordable housing. Now, our government always prioritizes the private sector because the private sector is the engine of growth of this country. I'll name the developers. Rehoboth Properties, State Housing Company, Deftraco Group Limited.
For what? The Saglemi project?
No, for our affordable housing, National Affordable Housing. Rehoboth Properties, State Housing Company Limited, Deftraco Group Limited, Frank Plus Ventures Limited, Doja Promotion Adoha Group Limited. These are not companies that you would think that otherwise would put themselves into a project that will not complete. And let me restate.
And these companies will be able to complete all 8,000 in a year?
No, so let me state that the project is going to take 2 phases.
Okay.
Okay. the first phase is going to complete 4,000 housing units.
Okay.
That will be done in 18 months. And so by December 2024, those 4,000...
So we'll have 4,000.
We'll have 4,000 completed.
By December 2024.
By December 2024.
So what happens to the next 4,000?
The next 4,000 will be completed within the same period of 18 months from December 2024.
So we don't know Ghanaians' decision yet.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
If it should happen that you're not in power, then we'll have another SAGLEMI.
No, you will not, because you see, we are building and completing 4,000 in our first phase before we even begin the second phase. Unlike SAGLEMI, where they rushed to build 5,000 and didn't complete, and now
and so you are 100% sure that you'll be able to finish 4,000.
We are 100% sure that we'll finish 4,000 housing units by December 2024 in 18 months.
Sometimes I don't like to compare, but I'm looking at 4,000, okay? And even 111 is 111. It's not even 1% of that, and we are still struggling to complete that in 18 months.
No, Rosie, you see, hospitals are different from houses. I mean, you know that.
No, but if you tell me that, even if you tell me 1,000 houses will be built so I know hospitals are different, but 1,000 will be built in 18 months. Makes sense.
You are building 111 district hospitals at different locations. You are building 4,000 housing units at one location. Very different. Very different.
But don't you have contractors on there? Haven't you assigned it to different contractors?
Very different.
So if you have different contractors, what is stopping the contractor from finishing?
Our contractors are on site with Agenda 111.
All right. Another question that has come in here.
Let me go to the housing, the prices.
It's still the same thing. That's what I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Now, people's concern is to do with the fact that the prices are in dollars, where we are struggling to have our cedi appreciate. We were hoping that if it's affordable, we shouldn't even see anything dollar at all. It should be go straight into cities. But this is a case whereby we have a government who is saying that we want to strengthen our cedi, quoting in dollars.
Let me bring perspective.
Please do.
All around the world, everyone is aware that the US dollar is the most stable. Okay, and the key word is stable. The most stable currency.
Please, I'm sorry, let me read this before I beg, okay? It's sad that this government has resorted to use every available means to waste our hard-earned taxes and to loot and share. The prices they have listed with respect to the housing unit is not in the realms of affordability to the ordinary Ghanaian worker. Please ask the NPP communicator how long it will take a Ghanaian nurse or teacher to afford $20,000. It's clear they are building these housing units for the political class and their families. Daniel Akpia-Leok from Sandema. Okay.
Rosie, these affordable houses that we are building are going to go through some mortgage processes. There are very few people around the world that can take $20,000 or $50,000 or $13,000 real cash and go and buy a house. All houses that are sold around the world are sold in mortgage. I mean, you know your family and relatives around the world who are still paying mortgages in their homes that they live in. And this is a government that is thinking about the future of the country. And so the Studio One, which is going to cost $13,800, the one bedroom that is going to cost $20,700, the two bedroom is going to cost $34,500, the three bedroom is going to cost $42,550, and the reason why it's quoted in US dollars is that it's the most stable currency. And so if you are building, and you realize you are building a project from now and completing in December 2024 the first 4,000 of the houses, and you are selling at this price and it's pegged. And so regardless the expenditure and how expensive the contractors procure in terms of the building of these houses, the price is pegged.
But how do we stabilize our city?
Oh no, I mean that's an entirely different conversation.
See, I know it's a different conversation, but if a government is in power and the government tells me that vote for me so I can strengthen the currency, you come to power and you give me a housing unit in quoting it in dollars, and you're telling me about mortgage. Now, one thing I know about mortgage, and you and I know what mortgage is. Mortgage doesn't mean that you walk to the bank and they give you the full amount. They calculate it according to your salary and how much you can pay within a certain number of years, plus your age. So you go to the bank, you tell them I want a mortgage and I'm earning 1,000 Ghana cedis or 2,000 Ghana cedis. You're supposed to be affordable. Now, how will they give you that 20,000? It's not going to work. The most probably a mortgage can give to you at that time will be maybe $2,000 out of the 20,000 because your salary is only 1,000 Ghana cedis. And you know that. That's how it works.
No, that's not how it works. This is how it works. So if you earn an approximate of about 2,000 Ghana cedis and you go through a mortgage system, the plan of the mortgage is to ensure that over a period of time, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, they are able to pay your house based on the deductions that they make from your salary. And so they will be paying directly to the contractor. And so if you earn 2,000 Ghana cedis, they might be taking 500 Ghana cedis every single month to make sure that...
Plus your age, add the age.
Oh, you know, I can understand the age. I mean, but a sizable part of these investors, in terms of the people that will be buying, are within an approximate age where they can be able to afford a long-term mortgage system. 10, 15 years to be able to pay for your home.
But you know, mortgage is not full payment. That we have to let people know. Because people often say, oh, mortgage, I've gone for mortgage, but Ghana here, mortgage is not full payment. If you go and you quote a house of $20,000, mortgage will not give you $20,000. They give you a certain percentage of it. And you ought to complete that other percentage. And we know that.
Rosalind,
yes, let me
come in briefly. See, this is what I'm actually indicating earlier. That was why earlier on I raised the issue of Saglemi. I am saying that you say there's too much wastage in that project. You say that if you have to put some extra monies into it, at the end of the day, it is waste. I am saying that you've shown me examples of monies that you have wasted in other places that could have done this. And you're still willing to do another wastage. When you say,
let's take it like this. Let's take it like this.
No, I'm coming. Let me land.
The others have passed. Now we have this that we are concentrating on. How do we?
Land.
Okay.
Let me land. If you let me land, you get what I'm saying. The ultimate goal is that it has to be affordable. That's the ultimate goal. That is why government is getting involved. If not, then there's no business. DevTrack will build their houses every day. All these companies you've mentioned, they are building their houses every day. They are doing okay. Why government gets into it is because we want people to be able to afford it. So if you go and you put $100 million into it and you say you're building it for the people and the people cannot afford it, what have you done? Nothing. So I'm saying that, look, if you're earning 1,500, for example, a mortgage says they're taking 500 Ghana cedis from your salary, it will take you 330 months for you to be able to finish paying. That is approximately 28 years for you to finish. What is the guarantee that that salary you're earning is constant?
But they don't even give you the full amount.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What is the guarantee that that salary you're going to continue to take? What is the guarantee you don't lose your life? What is the guarantee? So I'm saying that there's a lot. If the thing is cheaper, you know, people say 80,000 for a studio apartment or 70,000 for a studio apartment. Ghana cedis, you know, for a studio apartment. Then it makes a lot of sense. I am saying that perhaps all of us need to really sit down and relook at it. But again, he says we are pegging it with the US dollar because it is the most stable currency. You're pegging it at US dollars at your detriment. At your detriment. Because if I come for mortgage and you tell me it is $20,000 US, I have to pay $20,000 US. In 2 years, if that $20,000 US now becomes 15,000 cedis, 15 cedis per dollar, I am paying more. So even though you have appropriated my life to 27 years to finish paying, by the time I'm done paying, perhaps I'm 50. It's slavery. And I'm saying, look, don't do this. It's unacceptable. The same people who tell us that, oh, don't be doing transactions in USD, you're pegging it at USD because you have invited private contractors into it. And for them, profit is key.
I wanted to ask about this private, let me read this before. Commander Sugar Factory, Saglemi Housing Project, and the expensive $260 million circle interchange are some of the examples that the NDC should not come to power again. From Ajenim Boat in Domi Pillar 2. Okay. Now, you know, let's talk about, I was going to talk about, what was I even going to say? Because
I was raising the issue.
So let me give you the CD equivalent. You know, let me give you the CD equivalent.
Maybe by then I would have remembered what I wanted to ask.
It's starting from 160,000 Ghana cedis. The housing units that our government is building at Pokwasi, the 8,000 housing units.
Studio. Indicate that it's studio.
It's starting. A studio is a house.
Studio.
A studio is a house. A studio is a house.
Chamber and hall.
No, it's a house.
Is it?
Isn't chamber and hall a home? Isn't it a home? Don't people live in it? Don't people bath in it? Don't people eat in it? Don't people build a family in it?
It's a home.
It's a home.
Okay.
It's a home.
Okay.
It's starting at 160,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
So ignore the dollar. It's starting at 160,000 Ghana cedis. 160,000 Ghana cedis. 160,000 Ghana cedis.
Dollar equivalent.
You can get
Today, you're talking.
The
contract is USD.
No,
I just
The
remember
contract
my
is
question.
USD.
the 160,000
Let me ask the question before I forget again.
Ghana cedis.
Let me ask the question. So these private contractors, I know that in Ghana we have government workers who are into the civil engineering and things. Even when you go to the army, they have the engineers there. Why are we not using our government workers who are into engineering, into building, and rather going for the private sector to come and complete these buildings?
You see, Rosie, the way, it's a very good question you have asked, but the way government works is very different. There are purposes for the engineers you mentioned from the Ghana Armed Forces. The purpose for which they are set up is not for building affordable houses.
But government can use them.
No.
Why?
No. You see, there are intended purposes. The government representative on the building of the housing is the state housing company. The state housing company also has workers who build houses. And most of, I commend the CEO for the state housing company. He's done an amazing job. I mean, if you go to Adenta, you go to Dansoman, you go to a lot of the places where he's built affordable houses.
But the houses are not affordable. It's because we are using contractors that are very expensive. That's what I'm asking you. Because if you should use the government workers,
Rehoboth Properties, State Housing Company, Def Charcoal Company,
these are expensive contractors.
These are private.
Expensive contractors.
No, don't use the word expensive.
They are, we all know.
No, they are building an affordable housing for government. It cannot be expensive. If they are building for their private work, like we already know, those can come in terms of expense. But they are building affordable houses, which is why it's a consortium of 5 contractors, including the state housing company.
But on the average, the monies that we are hearing again doesn't even make it affordable. So we are using Def Traco, we are using Rehoboth, we are using ABCD, and yet our monies that we are saying, the quote that we are giving to the people in dollars, meaning that if by next year the dollar to the city ratio should go to a 15,
it goes up.
Those are assumptions you are making.
No,
our government has been working on making sure that our city relatively becomes stable. I mean, and when the finance minister read the mid-year budget review, he stated very clearly how our city has been stable over the period, how even inflation is coming down. So clearly, if you look at this, 160,000 Ghana cedis, Rosie, you can get a home. Adele can get a home. I can get a home.
Listen,
anyway, let's move on to our next story because it looks like
government, civil service can get homes.
I don't know how many civil servants can actually afford it.
Let's
continue.
Listen,
with our next
the
story.
I know. The average family, Rosalind, if you're married, you have wife and kids, you can't live in a studio apartment. You can't. It's not possible. Husband, if you want a life of dignity, husband, wife, let's even say 2 kids. Studio apartment now. Studio apartment for university students. You're school.
But can any university students afford that?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that you're doing these things. You want to change the lives of the people. But your target is not the people. Your target is someone else.
Let's see what
the average person with 2 kids will be looking at perhaps the 2-bedroom. Or perhaps the 1-bedroom.
Let's see what the future holds. Let's go on to our next topic. Our next topic has to do with, Dr. Bawumia has spoken about the fact that the NPP needs a united front to face the NDC in 2024. He's saying that all 9 candidates, the other 9 candidates who he's contesting with, should come together so that you can all face the NDC. It doesn't matter who wins to become the flag bearer of the party. Palgrave.
Rosie, our party has done very well in ensuring that all 10 hopefuls have picked up their forms. They've gone through vetting. They have gone through processes of balloting. And now we are preparing for the Super Delegates Congress, which is on the 26th of August, 2023. The sitting Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is on the ground campaigning. And he made a statement in Kumasi, and in that statement, he assured and reminded everyone that speaks for him, spokespersons, communicators, his campaign team, to ensure that we run a very clean campaign. He stated very clearly that this is an internal family affair. It's the tradition of the UP, and we are ensuring that one person becomes the flag bearer. We should dissuade ourselves from insults and disdaining of people, because we will need to ensure that once the delegates have selected one person to lead us, we become a united front to face the NDC. And I think that the Vice President is by far the only candidate that has called for such a clean campaign, and clearly is a very good image of his leadership and his own character and persona, and how I'm sure that after the Super Delegates Congress, the first 5 would be selected, and then we'll go into the main
and it's happening this August.
Congress.
We can't wait to know who the first 5 will be.
It's going to be a very
on top of your head, who do you think will make the 5?
So I think that over the weekend I proposed a few people. I think if I can remember, I think the first for me would be the sitting Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He would definitely be part of the 5. The former Minister for Trade and Industry, the Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin, will be part of the 5. The MP for Asen, I think South or so, the Honorable Kennedy Japan will be part of the 5. The former Minister for Railways and former Minister for Attorney General, the lawyer, what's his name again? I remember. The former Minister for Railway. His name has just gone off my mind.
Oh, yeah, I think, yes. Joe Gate?
Joe Gate, yes. The Honorable Joe Gate will be part of the 5. And my final pick of the 5 will be the former Minister for Energy, Boache Jako. So these are my 5.
You didn't make, Fiyakuto didn't make your cut?
No, he didn't make my cut.
Okay, all right. Anyway, Adele.
So it's a good thing, it's a good call from the Vice President that you have to have, a clean campaign, but it's not going to happen. You see, the truth of the matter is that when it comes to these kinds of elections, it is about talking about your positives and indicating why your positives are better than your opponent. And then also having to indicate the negative sides of your opponent in order for the delegates to be able to pick you up. So it will be exceedingly difficult, because I have heard recently issues about from the
other 9 delegates?
No, one of the other 9 delegates, Kwabene Japan, has indicated categorically that the Vice President is lying about the fact that it was Kufuor who brought him to Bank of Ghana. These are some of the conversations. So whether you like it or not, you're going to have conversations of someone saying this person did that and that person did that, and then the followers automatically will come into it. It's a good call. He's tried, but I'm saying that it's not going to work. We are waiting for all the information, because see, when these things are happening, that is when the reality starts to show.
Right, and so this August, we'll see who makes the final 5, and in November, we'll see who becomes the flag bearer of the NPP. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Super grateful. And we are rooting for Paul Gray. Please, delegates in his constituency, please and please and please and please vote for him. We beg you. Buakwa North, right?
Buakwa North.
Please. I am telling you, this man can do the job. So please, vote for him. Okay, we beg you, vote for him. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Rosie.
And so today I've had Paul Gray Dankwa, who is the government spokesperson on governance, security, and economy, and he's been here with us. And also Adele Umar Ibrahim, who's been a part of the communication team for the NDC.